Hi! First of all, we'd like to congratulate you on taking your first step towards a more glamorous life. We are here today to teach you how to release your inner bombshell. My name is Go-Go Amy. I am a vintage pinup model. I am the burlesque dancer for the Pretty Things Peep Show, and I've had a lot of experience doing makeup for movies, TV, and also in theater. So I'm going to be showing you how to do your vintage makeup today.
My name is Bettina May, and I've been a pinup model for a number of years, as well as a photographer. I know what it's like to be behind the camera, so I know how to get you to look perfect in front of it. And I also know what it feels like to do those poses, so I know how it feels to contort your body in ways that look pretty and perfect. But I also know what the human body can do, so I've been there. I've also done my hair in a vintage style for many years. I've slept in rollers for over 6 years, and I know how to create all the different vintage styles that our grandmothers did, but I also know how to get there using modern techniques that'll save you a lot of time when you're getting ready to go out, be in a photo, or just have fun at home.
After you learn to do glamorous hair and makeup, we're going to show you how to pose just like a retro vintage pinup girl.
We're going to be showing you how you can achieve all these different pinup looks and how to pose and hold yourself so that you feel comfortable in front of a camera or just in general in life. Learning how to pose and hold your body is a good way to just improve your posture in daily life, and it'll give you confidence that you need in everyday situations, knowing that you look your best.
You're going to learn all kinds of ways to accentuate how fabulous you are on the inside with all kinds of fun things on the outside, like fake eyelashes, fabulous hair, and glamorous posing. All right, we are going to get started on makeup, and we're going to get ready to turn everyone from a plain Jane into a vintage bombshell. We're going to start first by looking at our products. So you have foundation, blush, and a blush brush. Our whole eye setup here, which is mascara, false eyelashes, brows, and eyeliner, and then our lips. The vintage face has a very clean look, so your color is going to appear on your cheeks and on your lips, and the only other highlight is going to be your black eyeliner, your cat eye, and your brows. The nice thing about doing a vintage face is that it really doesn't require as many products as you think it would, so it makes it a lot more cost-effective as a look. So we're going to start off with our foundation and our foundation brush. Now I recommend using a brush as opposed to using a sponge for several reasons. Number one, it just applies the makeup a lot better than a sponge. A sponge will soak up makeup in a different way all throughout the course of the sponge, whereas on a brush, it will just lay flat and go onto your skin a lot smoother. The other reason why I would recommend using a brush as opposed to a sponge is sponges are meant for one-time use only. And everybody knows that you get your little sponge that comes in your compact and you use it until your foundation is done. The reason why that's bad is because bacteria likes to grow where it's moist and where it's dark. So you take your sponge out of your compact, you get it wet with foundation, you put it away in the dark, and then the next time you use it, you're basically just putting bacteria right back on your face. Whereas with a brush, the foundation will just come right off of it, and you can easily clean your brush by just running it under some water or spraying it with some alcohol or brush cleaner when you're done. If you're going to be doing a photo shoot or a show or anything where you're going to be in more dramatic lighting, it's best to use a cream foundation and a brush. I find that the cream foundation is more full coverage, so it's a lot more forgiving on any flaws you might have. And it works a lot better under harsh lighting, as you would be in any sort of photography setting or in a show where you'd be under theatrical type lighting. So we're just going to use our brush, and we're going to even out our skin tone. Now when you're applying your foundation, you want to make sure that you blend all the way up into the hairline and down past your chin. This will avoid what we have lovingly titled the mime line, which is when you just have foundation on your face and it'll make you look like your head and your body are not connected because they're not the same color. Depending on the time of year it is, if you sunburn, you might have to blend all the way down into your chest. Just depends on how much color or how much sun you've gotten. All right, well now we've got our foundation on and our skin tone is all the same. So we're gonna move on to doing blush. Now, in modern makeup, people either don't wear blush at all or they wear something that's a very neutral or natural color. This is where vintage makeup differs from modern makeup. In vintage pinup style, the cheeks were really, really pronounced. Pinup girls were always smiling with that big cheesecake smile, and they always had bright, bright rosy cheeks. Another interesting point about pinup is that most pinup pictures that we talk about today are actually paintings as opposed to real photographs. And in those paintings, the artist took liberties with certain parts of the face, one of them being cheeks, making them brighter so that the girls appeared to be smiling even harder. So we're gonna make sure we do a nice bright pink color. And you're gonna start right on the apples of the cheeks and you're gonna blend all the way up into the hairline there. And we're going to do the other side. And let's get that blended out. And in a photograph, your cheeks, being as bright as they are, will show a lot more definition in your face. It'll add a nice highlight there. All right. See? She looks happier already. All right, and now we're gonna move on to doing eyes. Now this is the part where most of our students have trouble. They've tried to do the vintage cat eye, they've tried to do false eyelashes, and they've had a difficult time and given up. But we are here to give you all of our tricks to a very easy, stress-free vintage eye. So the first thing we're gonna start with is the cat eye, which is the dark eyeliner that you see here with the little swoop coming up. It's great, it looks awesome, it looks instant vintage. To achieve this look, you have to use liquid eyeliner. You can't use pencil for this. Pencil is a little bit too smudgy, so you'll make a perfect little cat eye, and then the next thing you know, you'll blink twice and you'll be going to a goth bar. Goth bar, not fun. So we're gonna use a liquid eyeliner. I prefer to use a cake eyeliner and to use this hard angle brush. I find I get more control on the cake eyeliner and the hard angle brush than I do buying a store brand, which just comes in the little tubes or the little ink vials. They're completely usable, they're wonderful products, but this is how Grandma used to do it, so this is how I do it. Now the tricky thing about the cat eye is that it has a few different widths. It starts out on the inside, very thin, and then it gets thicker as it goes to the outer part of your eye, and then from thicker, goes thin again. Now, most people will try and do this in one fluid motion, but something that will make it easier for you is to do it in several steps. This will also save you from having to wash one eye off and put one back on. That's usually what just frustrates people. So let's get started with our liquid eyeliner. We need water to make this eyeliner work. So we're gonna take a little bit on our brush, and then we're gonna turn this cake liner into a paste or a liquid. And the good thing about cake liner is that you can make it as thick or as watery as you want. So you really have a lot of control over the consistency of your eyeliner, which I like. So, all right, we're gonna start on the inside of the eye where it's thin, and we're gonna move out thicker. Now remember, it's always easier to go from thin to thick as opposed to the other way around. So we'll start out with just the line there. Now instead of going right into the cat eye, we're going to stop, and we're going to repeat this step one of just the liner on the top of the eyes on the other eye. The thing that frustrates people the most about doing this kind of eyeliner is that it's always hard to get them to match up. So when you break it up into steps, it gives you a chance to check your work before you move on. So let's make sure that these lines on Bettina here are even. All right, and those look good. Now we're going to move on to the little swoop on the outside of the eye. Now, a common mistake is that people try and go from the inside of the eye right out to the little point, making it perfect the very first time around. But as we all know, things are never perfect the first time around. So we're going to give ourselves a little margin of error. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put a little mark on either side so that we know where we want the end of the little swoop to finish off. And this will ensure that they're both going in the exact same direction and they're going to be the same size. So we're going to put just a little dot right there and a little dot right there. And we're going to make sure that they're even. Now here's a little trick that you guys can try too. If you want to make sure that your cat eyes are going in the same direction and that they're the same length, you can make yourself a little guide out of anything that you may happen to have on your makeup counter. Anything that's a straight line. So I'm going to use this lip pencil to do this for me. So what you can do, and you could do this on your own face, is you're going to line up the edge of your nose and the edge of your eyebrow right there. You're going to make a little mark where your nose is, where the corner of your eye is, and where the end of your cat eye is. What you've done is you've made yourself a little template. And so now you can go to the other side of your face and make sure that that's correct. And that will save you from having to stare in the mirror squinting for hours and hours trying to figure out if they're exactly the same size. Just make yourself a guide, nobody will know. So now we're going to move the cat eye and connect it to the line that we've done on the top of the eye. And again, remember, it's always easier to go from thinner to thicker. So instead of starting in and going out, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to start from the point and just connect the dots in. So we're going to pull that in. And then we're just going to connect it so it looks like one fluid line. And repeat that on the other side. Here we go, and we're just going to make sure that those are even. Open your eyes. And there you go. Vintage cat eye in just a few easy steps. Now, the next thing we're going to do, which is the next thing that everyone seems to have a problem with, is false eyelashes. False eyelashes are one of my favorite things in the whole world. They have the ability to really change the whole dynamic of your face. And if you're going to do a vintage pinup look, much like how I explained earlier about the blush being exaggerated by the artists who drew pinup, they always exaggerated the eyelashes too. So we're going to exaggerate them in real life as they did in paintings by way of false eyelashes. Now when you get your lashes, there's a few things that you should know. First of all, they're very fragile. So when you get them, they're going to be in a little tray just like this. And you're going to want to be really careful about how you pull them out of the tray. You don't want to just grab one side and yank it all the way off, because the little line here, the little track that they're on, is quite delicate. And if you get a little kink or a bend in that, it's going to make it really difficult to glue onto your eye. So you want to just take your thumb and just roll it off the tray. Really gently. And you're going to set them down and do the other one. Now don't just throw this tray away. You can reuse your eyelashes after you're done with them. When you're done at the end of the night or the end of your photo shoot, you can take them off and stick them right back in this tray. And if you take good care of your eyelashes, you can actually use them a couple of different times. So save your eyelash tray. Now, a common mistake in putting fake eyelashes on is that people take their eyelash the exact way that it came out of the tray, the way they bought it off the shelf, and they just right on their eyeball. but there's a few things that you should do first to make this process a lot easier. So the first thing you want to do is measure your eyelash versus your eye. Eyelashes are usually made pretty long, with the thinking that it's better to make them too long and cut them down as opposed to making them too short. So a lot of eyelashes will be too long for your eyes. So we're going to take this and measure this against Bettina's eye. And as you can see, if I was to just put this on, it would stick out a lot right there, which would, number one, make it really hard for her to just glue on her eye. And number two, it would also just end up poking her in the eyeball all night, which is never a happy thing. And we want you to like fake eyelashes, so we don't want them poking you or getting mad at you. So we've measured this on her eye. And now what I'm going to do is just take a pair of scissors and just cut them down so they're the right size for her eyes. So I'm going to cut two. This style of eyelash is great when you're just starting because it's very distinctive as to where to cut. So these are great starter lashes for you. All right. And now we're ready to apply our eyelash glue. I like to use Duo Clear Eyelash Glue. They make several different kinds, but this one has been my favorite for a long time. So we're gonna get ready to set our lashes. Again, another little thing to remember is that now you've got your lashes, they're the perfect size for your eye. You don't wanna just take the glue and just dump it right onto the eyelash. They're very fragile and you don't need that much glue on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just squeeze the tube of glue just a little bit. There we go. Till we get a drop of glue on the outside. And then we're just going to dip the lash into that. That'll save us from any mistakes of pouring too much glue on our eyelash and ruining it. So just a little tiny bit right on that track that holds all the lashes together. Now, another common mistake is that people will put their glue on their eyelash and again, slap it right on their eye. You want to give the eyelash glue about 30 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds to get kind of tacky, as opposed to when it's soaking wet, when it just comes out of the tube. It'll be a lot easier to put on your eye. Another trick to helping your lashes adhere the first time around is once you've set your glue on your lashes, put a little bit of mascara on. Because when your natural lashes are wet, they'll want to stick to your false lashes when you put them on top of your eye. So while those are drying, we're gonna apply just a little bit of mascara onto Bettina's eyes so that they're ready to become friends with those fake eyelashes that we have down there. And now, these guys should be ready to go. So you want to grab the eyelash by both ends, and you're going to start by gluing down the outer end, and then just letting the rest of the lash fall into place. Now you want to get this down right down on your lash line. You don't want to have any space between your natural eyelashes and your false lashes, because we want people to believe that these are real. And if there's a space in between, it'll give your pinup secrets away. Open your eyes. Look at that. Look at the difference between those two eyes. One simple eyelash. All right, let's apply the other one. And we're gonna put that corner on. Okay, so there you go. There is our false eyelashes and our cat eye. Now, In modern makeup, a lot of times we'll line underneath our eyes, but in vintage makeup, in 30s through 50s, they really didn't line underneath their eyes that much. Pinup girls had big, wide doe eyes. And if you line underneath your eye, the shadow underneath actually makes your eyeballs look smaller as opposed to larger. So with pinup, we only line on the top because we want to make sure our eyes look as big and bright and beautiful as possible. Now there's one more thing on the eyes that we need to do, and that is eyebrows. Your eyebrows are the most expressive part of your face. So now that we've got our lovely false lashes on and we've got our beautiful rosy cheeks, we want to make sure that we don't lose out on any really fun expressions that we could do in our photo shoot because our eyebrows are a little too subtle. Another reason why it's important for us to do brows right now in modern times is that most ladies in this day and age have really small tweezed eyebrows, whereas in the 40s and 50s, the pinup girls had a more natural type brow, a thicker brow. So we're gonna actually color it in just a little bit. So I'm gonna take now another hard angle brush. The bristles on this brush are a little bit stiffer than the ones on the brush I used to do her eyeliner, but I still really love using the angle brushes. I feel like it's easier to go around a curve like an eye when your brush also has a curve in it. And we're just gonna use some brown powder and we're gonna fill in her brows. When picking an eyebrow color, you wanna pick one that's about one shade darker than your natural hair color because that's usually the color that your eyebrows grow in. In my case, I can't do that because I would then have to draw my eyebrows on in crayon, but I use what's 2 shades darker than my natural hair color. Shh, don't tell anyone this isn't natural. All right, so now we've got beautiful eyes, rosy cheeks, defined brows, which are gonna give us all those adorable little pinup expressions that Bettina is so good at. And there's one last thing that we can't forget, which is lips. So this is the one place besides your cheeks that's going to have any color. So it's very important that we make sure that your lips are done right. Something that's again different from vintage to modern is that in modern times, we will use more of a neutral or muted lip, whereas in vintage pinup, red is the way to go. And it's something that just a slight change in color and something that you already wear probably every day will really change you from a modern girl to a vintage vixen. So we're gonna use a nice red. I've got 3 products we're gonna use for our lips. One is our lip pencil. We wanna make sure, since this is really the only part in the face that's going to have any color, that it's really defined and distinct. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off lining the lips. And this is a great time in your makeup because you can really choose what shape and size you want your lips to be. If you want fuller lips, just draw them fuller. If you want a more distinctive arch on the top of your lips, just draw it in. You're using such a dramatic color that you can really have fun with what shape and size your lips are gonna be. Now, what we're gonna do with our liner is we're actually gonna color our lips in. I'm gonna show you some great little tricks to keep your lipstick looking fabulous all night long. So we're gonna fill that in right there so that we've got a nice base coat. And now we're gonna move on to do the lipstick. Now, you can get lipstick in all kinds of fabulous shades of red in a lipstick tube or in one of these great little palettes. But regardless of which product you decide to use, whether you use a palette or a tube lipstick, you want to make sure that you do use a lipstick brush. So I'm going to use Bettina's palette for this. I find that it, much like a foundation brush, I just think brushes apply a lot smoother. And it also allows you a lot more control because this is quite smaller than the lipstick that you would get in a tube. Now, we showed you the trick of lining your lips, before you put your lipstick on. But here's another trick that's really great. If you really want your lipstick to last all day long, whether you're going to be in a photo shoot or if you're going to be out dancing and drinking and smooching and whatever it is you need to do with your lips. So this is something my grandma taught me, and I'll share this little secret with you. Once your lipstick is done, you can take some loose powder and you want to cover your lips in that loose powder. So I'm just going to use my foundation brush to do this. Cover your mouth. And you're going to put a layer of powder over this lipstick. Gonna brush away the excess there. And now you're going to rinse and repeat. Do the exact same thing that you did to get your lipstick on. We're gonna use our liner and then we're gonna go right in with our lipstick brush. Now the reason you do this is because when you're out all night, hanging out, showing off your fabulous smile, or when you're off in a photo shoot and your lipstick starts to rub off, it'll have to now rub through the top layer of lipstick, then through the powder, then through the bottom layer of lipstick before it gets to your natural shade. So you're basically giving your lips like a little insulation, and it'll make your lipstick last a lot longer. They make all kinds of products for long-lasting, everlasting lip stay, lip stain. This is how Grandma used to do it, and Grandma was always right. All right, and now Bettina's makeup is done and she's ready to start her hair. Now the reason that we left Bettina's hair up in the curlers is because number one, it's leaving her curlers just a little bit more time to set. And number two, it's a great way to make sure that your hair is out of your face. We suggest doing your makeup first and then taking your hair out of rollers because it saves you from messing up your perfect pinup style while you're doing your makeup. So speaking of hair, let's move on and learn about vintage pinup hair.
Now that your pinup makeup is done, we're going to teach you how to do your hair. There's a couple tools that you're going to need to get this look down. You're going to need a comb with a rat tail on it and fine tooth. That's going to help when you're making your rolls and doing back combing, sectioning out your part, and sectioning out your rolls. You're also going to need a brush like this with bristles on it, but not the ones with the balls on the end. You want this to be able to smooth out your hairstyle once you have your rolls because you don't want to brush through all your curls and lose them. Then you're going to need a setting spray of some kind. Something that works for flat ironing or using a curling iron in your hair is good, just to have a little bit of moisture in your hair and roll it up. This is going to help you do an overnight set. First, you take your rat tail comb and you create a part. You can put that wherever you want. A side part is generally the easiest to do and the most versatile. You can do a center part and separate out your bangs if you have bangs cut or if you want to create a bang style, which we'll show you later in the video. So first, comb back, push forward, and there you have your part. You can smooth down your hair with the brush, make sure there's no knots in it. Some people find that hot rollers work best for them if you have naturally curly hair or your hair takes to heat setting. But I found, and so has Gogo Amy, that using foam rollers and sleeping overnight with a wet to dry set is the best way to create long-lasting curls. They'll last all the way through your photo shoot and carry on to dinner, dancing afterwards, a full day at work, whatever you need to do. And it's the way our grandmas did it. So it's, you know, the true vintage thing to do. A great thing about a wet to dry set is that when you wet your hair and roll it up and let it dry that way, it actually changes the chemical composition of your hair so that it mimics naturally curly hair. When you get it wet, all the follicles dry into a curled shape, whereas when you use heat setting like hot rollers or a curling iron, you're just bending the flat follicle and all it wants to do is straighten out. When you do a wet to dry set, your hair is going to stay curly until you get it wet again. So if you get caught in a rainstorm or have a shower, that's what's going to make your hair go straight again. So it's a great thing to try. So now that you've got the part in your hair, you're going to take your rat tail comb and you're going to separate out a section of the hair for the first curler, and you're going to make sure that it's the same size. We also use these wire rollers on the top because you get a cleaner curl out of them without marks that these parts here can leave on the side of the curl. But these are more comfortable to sleep in, so use the foam curlers on all the spots that your head is going to hit the pillow, and then put these wire ones on top. So you take out a section of hair that's about the same length as your curler and also the same width. That's going to give you the truest curl size to the size of curler you use. Then you take your setting spray and you spray the length of hair. This helps to glue in all the little flyaways as well. Now, depending on how much volume you want, you can angle the hair at a different section before you put the curler in, and that's going to either give you a lot of volume if you roll it up like this, or if you want it to be a smoother look on top, you can hold the roller down and then roll up from there. So once you've got this section out, you're going to roll all the way to the end and just wrap neatly the end around the bottom of the curler and then work it out. And you can use your other hand to smooth down all the little shorter ends. Now, if vintage hair is something that you really want to incorporate into your everyday life, you might want to look into several books that show patterns for vintage haircuts. A layered cut is really great if you have long hair. And also, there's a wide variety of short hairdos you can have and have perfect vintage hair as well. So don't feel that this is only going to apply to long hair. It just so happens that Amy and I have long hair. But I've had short hair as short as 1.5 inches all around my head and still been able to do a really great vintage look. It just needs to be long enough for a curler to get into it. And so 1.5 inches is about as short as you can go before you get that. A lot of hairdos in the 40s were shorter because there were wartime restrictions. So if a woman was working in military or was working in a factory, she needed to keep her hair off her shoulders. So it was regulation that hair had to be above your shoulders. So don't feel that you need to have long hair. If you've got, take a look at old photos and old cosmetology books, and it'll show you all kinds of different styles that you can do. Also, depending on the kind of style you want to do, if you just want to get a general curl in your hair, you can take a lot more hair and put it in a curler just to get the general curl in. Conversely, if you want really curly hair, use more curlers and put less hair in them, and then you'll get a lot tighter curl. It'll also make it easier if you're doing a true wet to dry set, where you come out of the shower, towel dry your hair, and then put it right into rollers. The more curlers you have in your hair, the quicker it will be for them to dry. And as you can see, it's the same thing with the foam rollers. Now with the foam rollers, you have a little bit more of leeway on how you can roll them up. You can do them super tight if you want really tight ones. The foam will condense and you can get a lot tighter curls. Or you can roll them loosely and have bigger, bouncier, softer waves. Now it's really important that you keep the ends tucked in really neatly, because it would be a shame to go through all this trouble of rolling your hair up, sleeping overnight, or having hot rollers in your head, and then having a beautiful curl when you take it out, except for the end. Also, if you do really messy ends and sort of scrunch it in at the end, you're going to damage the ends of the hair, and you're going to need to get haircuts a lot more. So just really practice getting the ends tucked in nicely, because then you can have beautiful curls all the way to the bottom. To create variety in the front of your hair, because with most pinup, the interest that you're going to have is in the front. You don't have to worry about having a variety of patterns in the back. That was more popular in the 20s and the 30s. And as far as photography goes, no one's going to be seeing the back of your head. So as long as you can just get some curlers in there and make it curly, that's all you really need to do. But if you wanted to focus more on creating patterns in the front, like those beautiful Veronica Lake or Lauren Bacall waves, as you see that I have here, you can sort of play around with putting the curlers in different directions. So you can see here that I'm putting them all in this way. And you can play around with trying different angles to put the curlers in and see what kind of patterns you get. So it's a good thing to sort of mix it up and experiment with and play around with. You can have them all facing forward if you wanted to do a more Betty Page, Betty Grable sort of front bump. You can put them all this way, but here we're putting them all this way. You can angle them in all different ways, so it's something to play around with a little differently. And don't worry if your hair is different layers and it's sort of falling out. Just roll up to where you can and then pick up that layer that fell and just tuck it in again. The nice thing about a wet to dry set is those ends can be a little tricky to stick in, but the wetter they are, the easier it is to sort of glue it down to the roller, and it helps to stick it down. And then when it dries curly, it just wants to cling to the roller, so it's perfect. One thing you'll discover when you're curling your hair is, especially if you have different colors in your hair or streaks, you'll really notice that they jump out a lot more versus when you have straight hair. If you have different colors on different layers, once you get them curled, it'll really help to define each curl. As you can see, Go-Go Amy has black streaks in her hair, and when it gets styled later on, you'll see how it beautifully defines her hair and makes each curl really stand out. So even if you don't curl your hair every day, it'll add a new fun dimension to your cut and color. You want to make sure when you're rolling your hair to always have the hair curl downwards. You don't want to have the curl coming up this way, because then when it dries, you're going to get a feathered look, sort of like Farrah Fawcett in the 70s, which is beautiful in its own right, but it's not what we're here to learn today. If you're not accustomed to having curl in your hair, one of the things you'll realize once you get curl in your hair is that you can manipulate the curls in any direction that you want. So it's good to have them all going underneath in the same direction. And then once you brush it out, you can move it in all different directions. You can even change where you have the part, because you'll enjoy having that extra volume. As you saw when I was getting my makeup done, I still had my hair in rollers. The great thing about that is that it keeps your hair off your face while you're doing your makeup. So what we recommend, whether you're doing your hair in an overnight set like this or you're sleeping in hot rollers, is to do your hair first in rollers, and then either if you're in a hot roller set, it'll give the hot rollers time to take effect on your hair, which takes about half an hour or whenever the curlers get cool. Or if you set your hair, you should do it overnight. It takes at least 8 hours for the set to dry, depending on the length of your hair and how wet you get it. The nice thing about using these sprays is they have a little bit of alcohol in them, and they're like a watered down hairspray. So they're going to dry a lot faster than a straight up wet to dry set. And we're just spraying just enough to make it damp. You don't want to spray too much, especially if you're not going to be sleeping for very long. Not that any of us stay up past our bedtime. So, before you go to bed, put your hair into rollers, and then you'll wake up with your hair all curled and ready for you. But leave it in there just to keep it out of your way, and that way you don't sweat out the curls while you're fussing over your new makeup skills. And then you finish doing your makeup, get into costume, and that's when you can finish your hairdo, and then it'll be nice and fresh for you. The great thing about setting your hair at night and then unrolling it in the morning is the amount of time it saves you. Everyone thinks that doing a pinup look takes forever, but I find that it's much easier than doing a modern look, which requires washing your hair in the morning, blow drying it, and then styling it and doing your makeup. With this, it takes, once you get practice, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes at night to put the rollers in. And then in the morning, all you have to do is pull it out and either just run your fingers through your hair to create a really simple style, or put it in a wave net and worry about it before you go out in the evening. So it's really not any more difficult, and it saves you lots of time. But no one needs to know that when they stop you on the street to tell you how great you look. Don't let them know that it only took you 5 minutes. Just smile, say thank you, and leave them wondering. If you're new to setting your hair in rollers and making your hair curly, you might not know that you don't need to wash your hair every day. When you have straight hair, your hair builds up oil a lot faster than when it's curly. And also, when you have curly hair and you're rolling your hair, it'll hold the style a lot better if it's a little bit dirty. So don't feel that you need to wash it every day. While you might think that your hair is too oily to do that, the less you wash your hair, the less oil that your scalp is going to produce. And it'll just become accustomed to producing less oil, and your hair won't be as oily. Also, when you have curly hair and you're rolling it like this, it's good to get more oil in there because it'll help condition the ends, which are getting a lot of extra work being rolled up. When you first start styling your hair with curls the first time, make sure not to do it on a day that's really important, like say your wedding or graduation, or when you need to look perfect in photos. It doesn't take that long, so it might be a good idea to practice it on a day when you don't have to go out. And then you can just see if it works, and there's not as much stress. Trying to do anything in a stressful situation makes it difficult all the time. So just eliminate that factor and do it on a day when you just have laundry or homework or whatever you need to do just around the house. But make sure, if it turns out, that you have a couple friends that you can call up so that you can go out for cocktails and show everyone your awesome hair. I've even just gone to the grocery store all dressed up so everyone could see my great hairdo on a testing day. There we go, we're almost done. The funny thing about having your hair like this is you could go out with your hair all wrapped up and people will already think that you look vintage just because you have some fun makeup on and your hair up in rollers. People don't even know that this isn't the finished hairstyle. They're just so unused to seeing it these days. So you can just put this in if you're having an at-home day. Put your hair up in rollers, go out, do your errands, have a cute little handkerchief on your head, and people will think that you're a 1940s lady already. We'll go out like this on show days to keep our hair fresh, and everyone's calling at us, Lucille Ball! So just be prepared for comments, but they're all going to be good ones. So now, once you have your hair all rolled up, find a pretty scarf to wrap your hair in. You want to create a little bit of a triangle like this. Wrap this around the bottom, and then bring all 3 points up to the top. This will help when you're sleeping overnight. It'll help protect the rolls and help them from tossing around while you're sleeping. The tighter that you roll it too will be better. It'll keep everything in place, and it'll make it a lot more comfortable when you're sleeping like this. You can also get a satin pillowcase, which really helps and makes you feel more glamorous. And who doesn't love that? Now that your hair is all rolled up, you have a number of options. You can sleep for 8 hours or do something. 8 hours is a good time to keep them in. If you don't have that much time but you want to do this authentic hair set, what you can do is find one of those vintage hood dryers, those cute old chairs that you see in salons, or you can go to a beauty supply shop and get one of those hoods that you attach to your hair dryer, and then you can just leave that on for an hour or so. You can sort of test it and see how long it takes your hair to dry. It's all experimentation and seeing what works for you. And then, after your hair is dried, then you can take it out. But this is a good time to go into your makeup. So after you have set your hair in rollers, you're going to want to take your head scarf off and start to unroll them and see what magic happened on your head. So you can see here the pattern that you'll put in when you put your rollers in. You'll find your part and you'll separate it with your rat tail comb. You'll give yourself a clean part, and all your rollers will be in rolling down. You don't want to roll up the other way because then you'll get more of a 70s look than a 1940s, 50s look. And try and make as uniform a pattern with the rollers as possible. You can see here that we have the wire rollers on top and then the foam rollers on the sides. This is so that when you sleep in your rollers, it's much softer on all the parts that hit the pillow, but you can get a cleaner roll out of all of the rollers that are on top with the wire rollers. And then you want to take as much care as possible in taking the rollers out so that you don't get them tangled or stuck. So starting at the bottom, you'll roll out slowly. So if you want to make sure that your first look can just be bouncy ringlets, so the more care you take in unrolling your rollers, the better your curl is going to turn out. You can just use your fingers as you unroll each curler. And while it's much easier to have someone else do it, you will get used to, especially when your hair is longer, getting up behind you to put all these long hair into rollers. You can see already that Amy's hair is pretty much in a style just from putting it in rollers. So you can see how easy it is in the morning if you were to sleep in rollers. Contrary to popular belief, it doesn't take a lot of time to get ready to do a proper pinup style. You just sleep overnight in rollers, you wake up, and 5 minutes after taking the rollers out, your hair is already styled. Take particular care with the wire rollers. Particularly, some of them have bristles in them, which can make them a lot easier to get stuck in your hair. So just use extra caution and care and just relax when you take your curlers out in the morning. Congratulate yourself on a job well done of creating perfect pinup hair. And don't worry too if you found that in your wet to dry set some of the curls didn't dry all the way. You can always just take a bobby pin and just pin them up into a little roller and hide it under the rest of your curls and wait until later in the day when that curl is dry, and then you can take it out. And if you're just setting your hair for a day at the office or a day out for fun and you don't have a style planned, this is a good time to see how your hair curls and decide what sort of style you want to do. So if you found that your hair didn't get as curly as you wanted, you might think about brushing it all out and doing just a soft wave style. Sometimes you discover really fun patterns in the front that you might, if the curl took really well as Amy's did, you could brush it into an interesting old movie star glamour wave set, or if the ends didn't curl as well as you'd like, you might decide to do an updo or do a bunch of rolls and hide all the ends. But you can see already Amy's hair is in a perfect vintage style, and all that you did is take your rollers out. So it's the wonder of curlers. Curls make the difference in your hairdo. Vintage perfect, fancy. So you could do a cute little Shirley Temple look with this, or some sort of, Gone with the Wind kind of thing, a little old-timey. Or you could start brushing it out and styling it and putting in a different look. Now that you have your hair all perfectly out of rollers and curly and bouncy, we're going to teach you the basic building block of pinup hair, and that is a roll. We're going to create two in the front here, asymmetrical, and those are called victory rolls. This is the hairdo that won the war in the 40s. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your rat tail comb with the little rat tail on the end here, and you're going to create your front section. So you go down from the part of your hair right down to the top of your ear and create a little triangular section there. And then with your brush, you're going to brush that all together. Don't worry about brushing out your curls because you've set it properly to start with. They'll stay in there through all sorts of brushing. So you get that all brushed out, and then you take your comb again, hold this section all together, sort of loosely but firmly in a way, and go in behind here and start back combing. Now don't worry, you're not going to end up with some rocker 80s hairdo. Do not be afraid of teasing your hair. No one will tease you later because you'll look so good. So just go in there. You want to go through the whole length of the hair because you want this to stick together and be one mass of hair. And once you're confident that that's all going to stay together, grab your hairspray. Can you put your head this way, Amy? And spray both sides of it. And then take your smoothing brush and just lightly smooth the outside. You don't want it to look like you've done too much teasing or back combing, but that helps to maintain the style. So what you want to do is take about 2 fingers and wrap the hair around that at the top. Make sure the ends are all tidy. And then just start rolling that down. And once you've got it firmly in place, you can just walk it down with your fingers like this until you get to the top of the hair. And if you like that, you can just pin it in place, but if you think you might have to do it a couple times to make sure you've got it, or you might decide you want to do a little extra back combing to give it a little more shape and volume. The great thing about the back combing is, as opposed to just pinning a curl in place, it's going to really have a lot more staying power. So it's not going to separate or come apart as your day goes on, or if it's a windy day out, or if you're doing a lot of swing dancing, or wherever your pinup hairstyle is taking you that day. It's going to really last. So you've walked it down, and you want to sort of keep the back flat against your scalp. Now, if you wanted something a little more dramatic, you can hold it up and sort of smooth out the inside so that you can see through it and pin it on either side. But for most looks, and for every day especially, you want to just keep it flat against there and make sure that the curl at the front is nice. So then you just take 2 bobby pins and you put one in the back, just like that. And the nice thing about all that back combing is that this hair is all sort of gripping together. So you only need to put a little bobby pin down at the bottom and you can sort of hide it. You want people to believe that your hair just stays like this naturally, kept in there by modesty and good luck. And then you put another pin at the front to anchor it. And then finish it with a little bit of finishing spray to smooth down all the little hairs that might be flying around. And there is your victory roll. So you can create another one on the other side by the same way. You want to take that comb and create a front section. Now because Amy's hair is so long and it's thick, I'm going to take just a little bit less than I did for the other roll, which leaves more hair for styling in the back, but it also makes it more lightweight, so you don't need as much strength to pull that together. So the same thing. Smooth that out. Now if your hair was really clean when you put your curls in, and it's slippery and new and healthy, you might find that it's useful to spray some more hairspray on that a couple more times to give it a little stickiness and make it a little bit more manageable. Now a lot of girls have difficulty, the same with your cat eyes, with your makeup, getting the two sides to match. So a nice trick for that, once you've smoothed this the same way that you did the other side, is to take a circular bottle about the size that you want your roll to be, and you just wrap that hair around and then slide it out. This is especially good if you have bangs and you want to do a center part with two rolls on either side. You can create two identical looking rolls this way, and then you don't need to be fussing over each side. And it also, you can use any size container you want. If you want really big, bold rolls, you can get a big hairspray bottle, or you can get little small travel hairspray bottles. Any sort of tube you want, you can use to create those looks. Creating rolls is a good way too to showcase off whatever interesting highlights you have in your hair. As you can see, Amy's black highlights here sort of help to frame the roll. And again, you just put a bobby pin on one side and here on the other. And then finish off with some hairspray. And then, as you can see, she doesn't even need to do anything to the back of her hair. It's all in cute little curls, and she's ready to go. So, instant 1940s pinup look here, and there's tons of different things you can do with this. It's very versatile. It's great, it keeps all the hair off your face, so if you're dancing, sweating, in a lot of bright lighting in the studio, this will keep all the hair off your face. Those curls are going to last all day. Another thing that you can do now that you know how to do these rolls is you can put the rolls anywhere you want on your head to create all kinds of different styles. You don't need to feel like you're limited to doing the one or two designs that you've seen in a book or movie posters. Remember that all the ladies in the 40s did their hair this way, so there was as many ladies creating styles as there are today. So I'm going to show you how you can create a front puff bang without ever having to cut bangs. So you can have very versatile hair. You can see how easy that came out, and Amy's hair is still curly. I'll get you to turn your head this way, Amy. So we're going to create a triangle section in the front. The nice thing about putting curls in your hair is once you get that basic curl in, you can make your hair go in any direction that you want it to. You don't have to follow by how you put the rollers in the morning or in the evening. So as you can see here, I've created a triangle section of hair in the front. And this works equally well whether you have a side part or whether you have a center part, because the front roll is going to come up and have a little bit of height, and no one's going to be able to see that. So the same as you did with the other rolls, you're just going to take this all, brush it into one unified section, But now, going in through the front, you'll back comb on this side because you're going to see the top part of the hair now. So once you're confident that you've got that back combed appropriately, again, go in with your hairspray to just add a little stickiness to that. Smooth out the top. And then again, using about 2 fingers, but you can sort of experiment with that. Everyone will like different size rolls depending on the structure of your face. So you've rolled it up tightly, and then you want to go in through each side and anchor that to the hair that's attached to your head. And don't worry about all the little flyaways. Those will get tucked in a second. So you want to go in right here and try and catch all of that hair on the inside there with your bobby pin. And then you just fan out that hair into that puff, and then you can just tuck it all inside, all the little parts that are a little bit messy. And if you want, you can sort of get your fingers in the middle there and create a bit of an angle to that. And then the hairspray also helps with the tucking in. And there you have instant bangs. This was made popular by people like Betty Grable and Carmen Miranda, and Betty Page is most famous for her bangs, though hers were always cut. But this is a good way to see if you like bangs, if you like that look, before you decide to, go full out and cut your hair into bangs, or if you want to have versatility and be able to do long looks and short looks. So then, you can just use your smoothing brush to smooth down the rest of your hair. And you can use a product like pomade or coconut oil. I like this Body Shop coconut oil hair shine because it doesn't leave a stickiness in your hair. Just put a little bit on your hands and then just smooth it on top. Just adds a little shine, and it's also good if you have color treated hair or really dry hair for whatever reason. Just adds a little bit of moisture to your curls. There you go. And you can even do this front bang look. If you have existing short bangs, you just pull back a section of your hair a little bit farther and pull it over, and then back comb your short bangs in with the longer hair. You use a little bit of hairspray to sort of glue it up so you can create this more pronounced, definitely vintage and over the top hair. And there, as you can see, Go-Go Amy has this perfect little front puff. And the nice thing about bangs like this too is that even when you're out dancing or out in the town, or if it's a hot day in the summer, your hair is all up off your forehead, so it's not going to get sweaty and fall down like shorter bangs would, or if you had a look that sat more in your face. So it's very versatile. So now we're going to show you all the different things you can do when you have a front roll to create different interests. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can use a wide variety of hair nets and snoods for the back of your hair. These are great for if you're going to be going to work, or for some reason you want to make sure that your curls are protected all day. They come in a variety of styles. We have, very glamorous ones that are all covered in rhinestones. You can get beautiful ones to match your outfit that are a little thicker like this. You can also get them in drugstores. Look for wave nets. They come in black and brown and blue and pink and lots of fun colors. So what you want to do is use this and just tuck all the back hair inside like that. Now what this does is it keeps the hair off of your neck and your back, which is another area where your body gets sweaty, and that'll make the curls fall out sooner. So it's a great way to keep your hair neat and tidy, just like Grandma did when she was working the factories, and still looking really smart and really cute. You can take the handkerchief that you had in your head, holding your curlers, and put that on as a headband like that to hide the line, get it to match your outfit or your hair or the hairnet. So that's a really fun thing to do with that. This is also great if you didn't have time to curl your hair and you just want to create a simple roll in the front and then put your straight hair in the back into one of these, and then it's all put away and everyone will say, oh, you look so 40s, and all you did was just put on a little hat. So those are a great thing to try. There's also little hats. Everyone collects these little hats, or you find them at your grandma's house or something like that. Now is your chance to use them. You can create a totally new look on your hairdo just by putting in one of these. This is a cute little one from Red Cat 7 that has a little comb on it. So you can use this and pull back your hair with the comb, and then you hide the comb. And it just adds a little piece of flair there to your outfit. You can get, bigger ones like this that you pin in, to create a little tilt look or something like that. Anyways, go crazy. Look through your wardrobe, see what you have. These are also great if you did some sort of style and one side is flatter than the other. You just pop this one in and it'll hide that. No one needs to know. Never tell them that your hair didn't turn out. People compliment you, you just go with it. There's also hair flowers. Lots of people make these different hair flowers. You can make them yourself. We get these from Retro Glamour Girl. She makes all these fabulous hair flowers. So again, just pop that. Instant vintage. All you have to do is put on some red lipstick and a hair flower, and people will instantly recognize this as a vintage retro look. So it's a really good thing to try. Also works to cover up a little mistake in your hair, a little bald patch, anything like that. You can put these all over. You can even put these on your outfit. They're great things to have around because you never know when you might need them. There are so many other things you can do with this basic curly hairstyle. Once you have your front interest in, there's just so many things you can do with the back, as well as hair flowers and hats and snoods. You could pull this up and just make it into a ponytail. Just pull the back up, smooth the sides out. And you don't have to run the brush through the whole of the hair. You don't want to lose those curls. You spent all night sleeping in them, or you were wearing hot rollers on a hot summer day. So just kind of pull it up, get a hair elastic, put that around there, or any of your favorite hair clips. And it's just a cute little 50s thing. This is also great to do if you have thin hair or if you want more volume. You can get clip-on hair and just clip the ponytail fall in the back, and it'll add to your look. You can also get those pre-curled if you didn't have time to put your hair in rollers. Just clip on the pre-curled ponytail on your straight hair. No one will tell. Another thing you could do is twist this up, pin it down, and make that great little 40s puff. Do a little tease out the curls and make them tidy looking. And you can create a great little fancy Rita Hayworth, little Lucille Ball, any of those. Betty Grable, just depends on, pick a lady in a hair color that matches yours and just call it a name. So there's tons of different things you can do with this kind of a look.
Well, now that you've got your glamorous pinup makeup on and you've got your fabulous pinup hair ready to go, now we're going to teach you how to pose like a pinup. The thing that I love about vintage pinup posing is that it really accentuates a woman's curves. And you really want to, in every pose that you do, try and get yourself a great hourglass figure. and we're gonna show you some good ways to pose. And it doesn't matter if you actually have an hourglass figure or not. We can show you a lot of fun ways to trick the camera into thinking that you do. Because part of being a glamorous pinup girl is showing your self-confidence and how much you love your curves. Because if you love them, everybody else is gonna love them too.
Now that we've talked about how to pose your body, we're going to talk about facial expressions. Facial expressions are just as important as setting the mood of the photo as how your body is posed. It lets people know whether you're happy or sad or surprised. And if you've looked at any old pinup photos or drawings, a lady's face, now that you've had it all made up so that you can properly express yourself, you want to be able to make the most of that and really sell whatever's happening in the photograph. So, of course, the most classic cheesecake look is the cheesecake smile. So you want to really be confident and happy and show all of those different expressions of happiness with your face. So this is why you have really rosy cheeks and red lips, and you will have your eyebrows painted so that you can show the really big happy smile. So you want to make a big smile, and a good way to create all these different looks with your face too is to use the vowels. If you're uncomfortable in front of the camera, or you just need something to help you to trigger all these new poses, if you say all the vowels, it's going to move your mouth in a nice way, and it'll create all these different looks, from smiling to surprised and shocked and happy and sad. All of these will come with the vowels. So just go through them and say them out loud. Go, "Ay!" And you can see how that creates that nice big smile. And for the really excited one, you go, "Ee!" And then, "I!" which will help sort of create that surprised look. And then, "Oh!" which is, of course, the classic pinup surprised. You know, you can incorporate your hands into this as well, like, "Oh!" And then, "You!" will create a cute little bow mouth that's popular in the 20s as well. So I'll do those one more time. A, E, I, O, U. So that's a good way to get that sort of look. Now there's a couple of other looks that you can do with your face that are a bit more advanced, or perhaps easier for you. If you think about, you know, the bad girl 50s look, if you're wearing your jeans and you're tough and you're the girl at the drag race, you know, you can try some without using your teeth and without smiling, but it's more of a smoldery look. So that's a fun one to practice. And then there's the glamour gaze, and this is where you wouldn't be looking necessarily at the camera. This is that 1940s glamour goddess who's so beautiful she can't look at the camera or it'll break. So you want to sort of look off into the distance. There's your future right there. It's glowing, it's full of money. So that's another fun one to try. So these are all the looks that you can use just with your face. While you're doing the same pose with your body, you can really switch up a lot just by practicing your vowels and using all those different expressions. Really believe that the story is happening, and that'll help you to create all these different looks in a photo. Now that we've talked about facial posing and how to pose, let's actually do it. We'll get Amy to show you some basic standing poses. So the first one you want to do is just really simple. You want to be conscious of where the camera is, and then you want to go 45 degrees away from that, so you're getting a nice 3/4 body angle. This is nice. You want to keep your back leg straight, and then you want to bend that front leg a little bit and keep it really close to your other ankle. And then you want to twist at the waist a little bit so that your hips are still in line with this plane, but then you're twisting. It gives your waist a nice little nip in. And then you want to create some interesting angles to really accentuate your hourglass. So you want to take this hand and just place it right against your hip there. Don't put your hand right here because then it'll add a couple inches to your waist, and you want to really accentuate the smallness of it. So you put your arm down there, and then by putting this one up here, you get this really interesting shape. And there's a negative space that's created here by having your arm out that draws people's attention to the angle of your elbow, which really accentuates, again, your waist, and that's all part of that great pinup look. So then you've got this look. This is a good basic look. You can do a little variation with your arm. Switch it up that way, have two hands up, two hands on your hips, all kinds of different looks that you can do like this. Another cute thing, and showcases off some great vintage lingerie, is to get your dress caught in the door of, say, an oven. Lots of pinup poses were very situational. So they'd be these sort of oops, and it just creates more things that you can do and creates more interest for the photo. So you can see how Amy's got that stuck there. It shows off her vintage stockings, which are really classic, and it just gives you a lot of different options there that you can do with that.
You might think looks kinda scary, all the fellas are crying cause Amy's getting married. Go, go! Go, go, Amy, go, go! Go, go, Amy, go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal. Go, go! Go, go, Amy, 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 go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal. Go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal. Go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal. Go, go, Amy.
Now, we're going to share with you a very important pinup secret, which is if the way you're posing is comfortable, you probably don't look that cute. But if it's uncomfortable or even hurts a little bit, then you're going to look great. Thankfully for me, Bettina is going to show you how this works. So she's going to do one of the most iconic poses in pinup, which we all know from everyone's favorite pinup queen, Betty Page, which is the kneeling cheesecake photo. So one of the things about this is that she's not actually going to sit down on her heels as you normally would if you were sitting down on the ground, but she's actually going to just lift herself up a little bit, where she's also getting quite a workout in the front of her legs. Anytime that you are working out a part of your body like that, it means that your muscles are tensing and that therefore they look a lot better. So do you need to relax for a second? We'll let her take a break as I explain the rest of the pose, and then we'll get her back into it. Now, the other thing you're going to notice in this is how she creates an amazing S shape. And you can see it's going to start up here, it's going to go all the way down, around, and then wrap right around to her feet. So Bettina is creating this great S, which is going to give her the idea and the look of an hourglass. All right, so you can pop back up and let's see that perfect pinup pose. And again, you want to use variations on your arms and your face when you're doing all these poses, because you really can get a wide variety of different looks from the same pose just by moving your hands and changing your expression.
Everything about my baby done got me so beguiled. What's that? I wanna shout it out when my baby kisses me. I wanna shout it out when my baby kisses me.
So we've shown you a few poses that you can use to accentuate those S curves. Now we're going to show you a couple little tricks that we have in ways in which you can cover up anything that you may not be comfortable showing in a photograph. One of those things for a lot of ladies is the belly area. So a great way to show off the assets that you love about yourself is to just choose to put them closer to the camera. So as you can see in Bettina's fabulous pose, she is leaning forward and she's showing her cleavage off to the camera. She's covering up her midsection, and she's also showing off her lovely legs. And in this photograph, what you get to see is her beautiful face, her fabulous cleavage, and her lovely stockings. And anything that she might be worried about or self-conscious about is just flat out not in the frame. And it's a really easy way to take what you love about yourself and show it off, and take things that you may not like so much and just take them completely out of the picture. Another thing we'd like to point out too, speaking of Bettina's gorgeous legs, is her seamed stockings. This is one great little wardrobe trick you can use to dress up anything that you might already have in your wardrobe. Seamed stockings give a great vintage look, and you can find them at tons of stores all over the place now. So if you've just got a regular little black dress that looks great, and you throw on a pair of these stockings and some fabulous hair, you're zero to vintage in no time flat.
Well, for just one kiss, you know I'd walk a mile. I think the stars at night, jealous of my baby's smile. Well, everything about my baby done got me so beguiled.
is another great pose to accentuate certain areas and to hide other areas that you may not want to feature in a photograph. So with this pose here, you can highlight your great hair. It's a good one for cleavage. It's also a great shot for legs. And it hides your middle section if you're sensitive about that area. It also hides your bottom. So you're just putting all of your best features into the photo. The other good thing about this pose is with your legs tight together, you're not having any negative space in the photograph, which would detract from it. You don't want to have gaps or anything because that's where the eye is going to go to. So keep your legs as tight together as possible and then just create a little bit of difference, having one leg straight and one leg curved. And then you can create some variety with your arms. So you can have them both up, you can have them down, then you can create a little S shape by having one down by your head and the other down by your waist. So you can see the variety of poses that you can do just lying on your back.
Go, go! Go, go in, go, go! Go, go in, go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal. Go, go! Go, go in, 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 go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal. Go, go! She's a go-go kind of gal.